And it's been so intense when these two teams get together.
It's a hostile environment. You feel it.
It's AFC North football. We know how important this game is for us.
This is a huge rivalry game.
The games have been meaningful.
Tough as nails.
Tonight on the Mike Tomlin Show, find out why Coach Tomlin expects a hostile environment tomorrow in Cincinnati. James Conner had himself a day last week. We have the ultimate highlights for you. And the players showed off their signature style on the runway. Find out who had the most swag. All of that and so much more as the Mike Tomlin Show starts right now.
Here we go. This pass is caught, and that's a touchdown. That's the way to work. Come on. He's hit that sack. The Steelers win the football game. Let's go. Come get it. You know what it is.
This one is in the history books.
Here we go.
The Mike Tomlin Show is presented by 84 Lumber.
Hello and welcome to a brand new edition of the Mike Tomlin Show. I'm Missy Matthews. Falcons quarterback Matt Ryan entered last week's game against the Steelers on pace to eclipse all of his personal records by the end of the season. Unfortunately for him, he was met by a defense with a major chip on its collective shoulder. Ryan was under pressure all day long and suffered a season-high 6 sacks and was hit 11 times. It was a flash of what the Steelers defense believes it can be. A complete team performance that was led by TJ Watt, which earned him AFC Defensive Player of the Week honors. Bob Pompiani is with Coach Tomlin to discuss the impressive win over the Falcons.
All right, Missy, thanks very much. It's a big week, first of 3 in a row against AFC North competition. Mike Tomlin is here, but sporting some Duquesne swag. What's going on?
Yeah, you know, we as an organization just wanted to, first of all, extend our condolences to the Duquesne football program and the larger Duquesne community. And we wanted to show our solidarity and support for them as they go through this tough time and dealing with the loss of one of their team members. And I know that everyone in the city feels the same way. So we're going to do different things to show our support for them as they continue to work through what is a very difficult time, which is very understandable.
Very tragic situation what happened. It does affect everyone on the team, so that's a classy move. Thank you for that. Let's talk about the game this past week because it was Steeler football the way a lot of people here expect it to be. We statement drive the first two. Specifically talk about that first one and how James Conner was featured a lot in that one.
You know, more than anything, we didn't do anything catastrophic to our efforts like get penalized and some of the things that have made moving the ball fluidly for us difficult at the early stages of games. We got a lot of confidence in our people and our ability to move the ball. James was featured, but obviously we got a lot of confidence in all the people we're capable of giving the ball to. I just like the way we came out of the locker room. We didn't do anything catastrophic to our own efforts.
Even though your team scored 41 points, I thought the theme of this game was defense. You guys came out and decided to sort of unleash your guys and blitz a lot more than we've seen. But I guess that starts with Joe Hayden. How good was he against Julio Jones, and what does that allow you to do schematically?
Joe just proved why we were always excited about getting him a year ago. He was big in the game. He matched up against Julio. But obviously it wasn't a Joe versus Julio. We did some other things schematically to assist him, but man, he was game for the challenge. He minimized him in a big way. I think even limiting catches there until the second half of play, and that allowed other people to get focused on playing fast, and he worried about trying to keep a lid on Julio.
You got in the back for quite a bit, and anytime you have a quarterback like Matt Ryan or any of these elite guys, that to me is a recipe to at least make them uncomfortable. Talk about TJ Watt. He seems to go in bunches when it comes to sacks.
Yeah, and it wasn't just TJ. It was the entire front. TJ got home a lot, but can't say enough about the contributions of Bud Dupree and Cam Hayward and others. I thought just collectively we had pressure on him. Even Mike Hilton came some from the nickel position. to keep him under duress, I thought was significant in terms of minimizing their upfield abilities. You can't cover Julio all day. We talked about Ridley and the fact that he was hot with 8 or 6 or 7 touchdowns coming into the game as a rookie. If we were going to have success on the back end, it had to be dictated by what happened up front.
A lot of people had concerns about Ben Roethlisberger, Antonio Brown. Those were put to rest, at least for this week. Those connections were pretty significant and well executed.
Yeah, some significant plays, chain moving type plays, big plays over the top, things that we're accustomed to seeing from them. But, just one body of work. We'll get back to the lab and get ready for this week's challenge.
And that is Cincinnati coming up on Sunday. You'll see it on KDK TV. It's a big game. The Bengals coming off a big win, 27-17. They erased a 17-point deficit. We'll talk to Coach Tomlin about what the challenge is in the Cincinnati Bengals this week in Cincinnati. We'll do that in a bit. Right now, back to you, Missy.
And no love lost in this matchup, Bob. 20 combined penalties for 239 yards and 2 suspensions handed down between the Bengals and the Steelers the last time they met. I fully expect it to be just a little bit chippy out there. Coming up right after the break, we have the ultimate James Conner highlight from his career day last week against the Falcons.
And a rushing touchdown for James Conner. His second of the game, and this place is aflame.
The Steelers' official mobile app brings your game day experience to a whole new level. The app features a new game center full of stats, drive charts, and video highlights. Following the game, watch live press conferences and video interviews. Download the Steelers' official mobile app for free today.
Welcome back to the Mike Tomlin Show. Well, the numbers speak for themselves. 185 yards from scrimmage, 110 rushing, and 75 receiving with 2 touchdowns. Running back James Conner had himself a day. But why talk about it when you can watch some of those sick highlights? So check it out.
It's going to be key for James Conner to be productive today in the run game.
And running back from Pitt, number 30. James Conner! Running with the football, James Conner goes inside a man. He's at the 50, the 40, keeps his balance to the 40-yard line. Up the Atlanta Falcons, and are going to call him down at the 38. What a play by James Conner.
As Conner gets a chance and slips through the Atlanta defense. James Conner all the way inside the 10-yard line. What a run.
And then watch the cut right inside, right there. Now you're into the secondary in the open field.
Touchdown Steelers. James Conner has the chunk.
Billy, he looked like Walter Payton. Man, he jumped way over that. I think he could have cleared about 5'8" in a high jump.
Little toss to the left side to Conner. Conner spins his way out of a tackle up over the 30, the 35, the 40, and he's tackled at the 42. James Conner so far putting on a show for the home crowd.
And when he gets cranking like he is right now, he's tough to stop.
A screen to Conner. Oh, look at him move through that for a first down all the way and still going before he went out of bounds inside the 30 of Atlanta. Boy, it was slow developing, but he just kept on motoring.
But the run after the catch is what impressed me.
Oh, yeah, look at the way he looked. There's 5 guys had a shot at him. He left them all in his wake. The run to the right, Conner running to the pylon, Conner gets to the pylon, and a rushing touchdown for James Conner. His second of the game, and this place is aflame.
Earlier this week, I was able to catch up with the second-year running back to find out not only how much hard work he put into perfecting his game, but also the hard work that he put into conditioning his body during this past offseason. James, at the end of every season, Coach Tomlin has exit interviews with players. Take me back to after your rookie year and what the conversation was of things maybe Coach told you.
He just told me he wanted me to work on my conditioning and just to get ready. Year 2 players always make a jump, he said. Well, that's what they expect at least. So he just said he was looking forward to seeing the jump and my transition of how I was going to be better than last year, really. So I just took that and was working hard this offseason.
What did you do to get in that physical condition and the things that he wanted to see in year 2?
Just by being consistent with every day, doing something productive, running and lifting, eating the right things. You know, it's really not hard. It's just about being consistent with it. So just the consistency.
Was there anything football-wise he said, you know, this is something you can work on?
Well, Coach Sachs and everybody, you know, there's different things, but it's just learning, you know, learning protections and everything. The football skill set is there. It's just, you know, polishing it up with, you know, being in the right spots and the passing game and everything. So just stuff that comes with over time.
With the O-line, is it similar to how wide receivers want to have a quarterback's trust, a running back needs to have the O-line's trust? How do you go about gaining their trust?
Exactly. Just by putting the ball in the right spots and reading the blocks correct and just trusting what they're going to do up front. Guys pulling and just knowing how it works.
After the Falcons win, you had tweeted that your mentions are constantly filled with people telling you that you're an inspiration and such. You're just sitting there, thankful to the max to be able to motivate and still play the game all in God's work. Is it just a moment of reflection for you?
Yeah, you know, it's a tweet. It's everything it sounds like. That's what I was doing. I was sitting there and I was just thankful. And I usually don't say much. I don't talk a lot really on Twitter. I'm not a guy who tweets all the time.
A little out of character.
Yeah, I just retweet some, you know, occasionally, but I just felt like it was time to, I always acknowledge everything, but I just felt like it's a good time to, you know, reach out to everybody and just let them know I appreciate them all.
There's plenty more coming up on the Mike Tomlin Show. We're heading back into the jungle tomorrow afternoon for an AFC North showdown with the Bengals. We'll get a preview coming up next. Don't go anywhere.
Heinz Field, baby, let's go.
This fall, we're hosting a few get-togethers at Heinz Field.
Touchdown, Antonio Brown. How did he do that? Here's a big rush, and that is Cam Hayward with yet another.
Come on by and join 68,000 of your closest friends.
Touchdown, Juju Smith-Schuster. The Steelers win the football game, and what a game.
For ticket information, visit Steelers.com.
Back on what it is, man. It's your boy Juju, man. What a great weekend. Got the W. As you guys know, I got a newborn for my celebration. Juju Jr. here. As you guys can see, he's been keeping up all night. I need to get some advice for some of the guys who have kids.
Man, make sure you just keep his diapers, or it's a boy or girl?
It's a boy.
Or make sure you keep his diapers clean and make sure you keep him fed at night.
Oh, that's a baby. It's a baby. As you guys know, we got the touchdown celebration. My newborn, want to hold it?
Yeah, I hold it.
So do you have any advice how to take care of a kid?
Yeah, I do. You gotta rub it. You gotta sing a song. I sing an alphabet song. It's the baby.
He delivered my baby. So what was going on through your head when you delivered the baby?
A little nervous, you know, just wanted to make sure the baby came out healthy, alive, and well. I'm a stepfather, right? A stepfather, so yeah.
The Mike Tomlin Show is presented by 84 Lumber.
Well, another week and another high-powered offense. I feel like this record is starting to skip. The Bengals have a set of really good wide receivers complemented by a committee of dynamic running backs, paired with a quarterback who can deliver the ball. Andy Dalton and friends have led the black and orange to a first-place record in the AFC North at 4-1, but don't be dismayed. The North is still wide open for business. The Steelers are set to play 3 straight division games starting tomorrow afternoon in Cincinnati. And after the bye week, the Ravens and the Browns are both on the docket. But let's not get too ahead of ourselves. Coach Tomlin's focus is squarely on bringing home a victory. So let's head back over to Bob to find out what we can expect tomorrow at Paul Brown Stadium.
Missy, it is a big game. Of course, Cincinnati 4-1. The Steelers with a win can rule a half game behind that team. Mike Tomlin's talk about Cincinnati, and typically when you see a team, especially over the years, they've had issues falling behind big. They were down 17-0 in Miami. They changed completely the dynamic of that game, not just with Dalton making some plays, but their defense really stepped up big in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, I tell you, I think that's been the story of their season. They've made significant plays in the latter part of ball games to close games out, and when you're winning, that's oftentimes what defines winning performances. Week 1 against Indy, they made significant plays late. 2 weeks ago versus Atlanta, their offense went down the field and delivered a play late, and then obviously their defense made big-time splash plays late in this football game, like this past week against the Dolphins. So what you're seeing is a bunch of guys that, you know, have have an ability to deliver quality plays in the moment.
Their offense, of course, is led by Andy Dalton and A.J. Green. He gets a lot of the attention, but it's almost like Tyler Boyd has emerged as their version of Juju Smith-Schuster.
You know, his development is a very natural thing. You know, when a guy gets the type of attention that A.J. Green gets, similar to Antonio, it provides opportunities for others that are prepared. And Tyler is growing. You see it. He was significant in that Atlanta game, converting third down after third down and even a couple fourth downs. And we got a lot of respect for Boyd and what he's capable of doing.
Vontaze Burfict back last week for the first time after suspension. He's back when he's right and when he stays away from some of the extracurricular stuff. How big of a problem is he?
You know, he's a bigger problem for us, regardless of some of those things you mentioned, because he's an impact player. You know, how they deal with that other stuff is their issue. We respect the player that he is and the plays that he's capable of making, and last week was no surprise to me. You know, his first game back, he was consistent in terms of neutralizing the line of scrimmage and controlling the run. He's a very aware player. We got to be prepared to deal with a lot of Vontaze, and I'm sure last week is just a sampling. I'm sure he'll be out there every down against the Pittsburgh Steelers.
You guys have had a lot of success against Cincinnati, especially in the month of October, especially there. What is it about playing there that brings out good performances from you guys?
You know, I just think it's a hostile environment. You feel it, and I think that competitors respond to that. We've been up there in some tough circumstances. It just seems like it's something that always gets your competitive juices flowing. I remember Ben got hurt up there a couple years ago, and they were throwing stuff at him as they were carting him off the field. And football teams remember things like that. And it is a hotly contested game. It always brings the best out in us, but the best in us is always required. We got a lot of respect for that group. They're a good football team, always is, and obviously how they've started 2018 reflects that.
All right, coming up, Missy, when we continue, Mike Tomlin was a judge this past week. We'll tell you what he was judging and who won a little bit later in the broadcast. Back to you.
Can't wait, Bob. Trading the whistle for a scorecard. Coach Tomlin does it all. Also, right after the break, you probably heard last week's touchdown bomb to Antonio Brown like this.
It is caught. That's a touchdown. That's Antonio Brown.
But you probably didn't hear it like this.
Antonio Brown atrapa el pase para el touchdown. El zarpazo que tanto ama Big Ben.
The league considers rule changes annually. We want to keep the game competitively fair, and we just want to make the game as safe as we can make it. Recently, we expanded the horse collar tackle rule to not only include inside the collar, but outside the collar. Guys were being injured, so we expanded that rule. You talk to the players about why the rule is being changed, but then you also talk to your coaches about how it might change our instruction. You know, the game is evolving, and it's evolving for the better.
De Roethlisberger, que ahora se coloca bajo centro. A ver cómo le va bajo centro a Big Ben.
Y le sigue bajando el reloj el equipo de Pittsburgh.
Washington va en movimiento, finta y pase, va profundo. Largo, busca Antonio Brown. Antonio Brown atrapa el pase para el touchdown. El zarpazo que tanto ama Big Ben. Y Pittsburgh da un golpe contundente a Atlanta.
Espectacular Antonio Brown, nos hacía falta ver este tipo de jugadas. Tardó hasta la semana 5 arreglar la conexión del Wi-Fi entre Ben Roethlisberger y Antonio Brown, pero parece que ya está arreglada y Pittsburgh un touchdown de 47 yardas para prácticamente matar el partido con 9 minutos 40 por jugar en el último cuarto.
Well, there's no doubt that fashion is important to a lot of the players. Just take a look at some of these pictures of the guys going on road trips and arriving at Heinz Field on game days. So it's a no-brainer to mix the world of fashion and football into one big night every year to help raise money for charity at the same time. Rock Steelers Style was held last week at Stage AE on the North Shore. I hosted the red carpet, Bob Pompiani was the MC, and Coach Tomlin was there too, helping to judge the annual Swag Award. Here's the highlights. All right, back here for Rock Steelers Style, a signature night. How did you come up with the theme this year, Greta?
The team this year, I saw a young girl in New York City doing signatures on napkins, and she was very creative for other events at Dolce & Gabbana. And I thought, what a great idea to bring her to Pittsburgh, and she's doing terrible towels for everybody.
All right, tonight is a signature night, and that is because of your handiwork. Tell us about this and how this came about.
So I am Sam Tyke. I'm a calligrapher from New York City, and tonight I am doing personal terrible towels for donations here. So customizing, hand painting on the terrible towels with names, dates, you name it.
And did you dress your husband tonight?
I had a little bit of say, but he's pretty good. He's gotten a lot better.
And then any sneak peeks or something you can give us that we're going to get a chance to see tonight, especially with your game day collection?
We did some pretty cool gowns, I'll just say that.
We're very thankful for the players and their families to participate tonight. We look forward to watching them enjoy themselves and show some swag and some fashion. We'll judge it at the end.
Go Steelers!
At this time, I'd like to bring out our captain for the night, Polk County's finest, number 98, Vince Williams.
But yeah, man, I'm just excited about this opportunity. I'm excited to come out here and show everybody, the Steelers swag movement. Thank you to the Roonies and all our teammates back there ready to go.
Former swag award winner, so you can't win again tonight. Who would you vote for?
I don't know. We got a lot of guys really showing off and showing out, so there's a lot of guys worthy.
And the player category, the winner is Artie Burns, 2-5.
Well, that's going to do it for tonight. The Steelers will be off next week, but we still have a brand new edition of this show coming your way. We'll have an incredibly powerful story featuring Mike Tomlin that anyone who cares for children should not miss. Thanks so much for joining us tonight, and before we say goodnight, let's get some final thoughts from the head coach.
All right, Missy, yeah, this past week it was quite an event. Another Rock Steeler Styles, and of course, Greta and Art Rooney. Mike Tomlin and his lovely wife, Kia, who does a great job with the design world. I mean, I'm sure you have influence on her fashion ability, right? Yes?
Very little.
Well, she dresses you well, I got to tell you that.
Well, thank you.
Yeah. People say where Mike gets his clothes? Off the bed. She lays them out for him. Anyway, let's talk about, you had a role as the judge. We give an annual swag award, and we've had various winners. It looked like Juju Smith-Schuster was going to be the winner at one point when he came out, but he didn't get the vote by you.
Yeah, I probably got quite enough of Juju, man. Juju has a way of wearing us all down. I was looking for an underdog, if you will, and I thought I found one in Artie Burns. Really liked the retro turtleneck. It was kind of John Shaft-like, and the kids were coordinated as well, he and his lovely wife. So I thought it was appropriate to give the Underdog Swag Award to Artie Burns and family.
Coach, thanks very much. Good luck this week.
Thank you.
All right, we have the Steelers and the Bengals. It's all coming up tomorrow on KDK TV. Make sure you tune in. It's AFC North football and a big game as the Steelers could pull to within a half game of first place. That's going to do it for Missy Matthews and Mike Tomlin. I'm Bob Pompiani. Have a good game day tomorrow. We'll see you back here next Saturday at 11:35.